Hello everyone. It's Stray Faye here with another episode of Cupid Parasite. We are starting off in a very serious place, but last episode was kind of silly. Lynette, working for Cupid Corp again in this route, although it's just like fresh out of college or during college as an intern, along with Peter, which is Jupiter's human disguise. And he's very silly because he's very clumsy and scared of everything. And yeah, we got to meet the Parasite 5 again at the little soiree. And Lynette's intrusive thoughts took over again, and she decided to use her Cupid bow, even though she was told not to shoot people, to either fall out of love or fall in love. And she ended up shooting Chi / Peter / Jupiter, who ended up falling in love with her. So shenanigans are going to ensue. So let's start this next chapter. I think we're like in the midpoint of the route. Assuming the chapters are like the same length. We might get an hour-long chapter. So let's start the chapter First Kissed New Love? ? We're starting off in the underworld, though. I won't forgive you. Is that it? One line. Okay. Whoever that is. Is that Alan? Alan's down there. After that, regardless of whether we were at our internship or not, spending time with Peter was enjoyable. Anytime, every day. Seemed like he'd be a fun guy. Lynette, I did it! What did you do? Oh no. Is he like a dog? Lynette, let's go have lunch! He's like a dog. Lynette, I brought you some coffee. White mocha from Starbucks. Starbucks. She or Peter always managed to find an excuse to visit my desk. He seems clingier than normal with you. Wait, are you two dating? Well, yes. I'm sorry, I told him not to come when I'm working. Ha ha ha, that's fine. He's wrapped around your finger. Plus, it seems to help his job performance. Peter, can I talk to you? What is it? An emergency! There he goes. No, a file just dropped. Well, he still freaks out whenever female staff members speak to him or if something drops. That's a sensitive parasite for ya. Bridal advisor C. He can't talk with female employees aside from Miss Muir. He'll join the Parasite 5 if he stays like that. It's gonna be the Parasite 6 now. Parasite 5? Right, she hasn't been like really formally introduced to them. She's just met the weirdos. That's what we call our troublesome members. There are 5 members that no one is in charge of since our advisors don't know what to do. I remember when they gave Peter that nickname. Seems like it's a matter of time. The advisors then gave me the rundown on the Parasite 5 and all of their exploits. The lovelorn parasite, a member who just can't seem to get over a past love. The prestige parasite, a member who's obsessed with maintaining his social status and has delegated a surrogate to help him find a partner. The obsessed parasite, a member who just can't help himself from talking about mythology, making basic conversation impossible. The glamour parasite, a member who judges people sorely on their appearance and thus shuns anyone who is inferior in his eyes. And the thieving parasite, a member who seems to prefer women already in relationships, thereby upsetting our client base on a regular basis. And Peter Flage, a nervy jumpstart who can't seem to communicate with women, the sensitive parasite. Well, technically he's not one of them. The Parasite 5 only referred to the original group, but he fits right in, doesn't he? Well, he's not a client, so... I see. I never knew there were such troublesome members. What kind of people are they? Will I have a chance to meet them? Since there are members. What? Interested in Parasite 5? Yes, I'm curious what kinds of matches they'd have. Haha! Looks like someone's itching to be an advisor. You're an expert at checking in new members, so you want a client of your own? Really? Yes, I'd love for you to, but none of the Parasite 5, okay? It might be a little bit too much to handle. Yeah, that's a little bit much to give to an intern. And plus, in any other route, Lynette just starts dating him, so. They're that troublesome. Oops, it's time for the seminar. I was absorbed in our conversation. Please get ready now. Oh yes, let's go, Peter. Yes, I'm already preparing. Peter showed up holding a file full of confidence. Here comes the golden retriever. Great to see Peter getting used to working as an intern. It's wonderful. I was worried on the first day, but it seems like he's doing just fine. Peter, Chi, in other words, a divine beast posing as an intern. Right, she doesn't know he's Jupiter. She just thinks he's a divine beast who has the quirk of being able to have a human form. Lord Jupiter himself would be surprised, I thought to myself as we entered the suite. When Peter and I entered the seminar room, there was Mr. Harriet, the president's secretary. I'm still not used to, like, Harriet. I'm like, who's that? And I was like, oh, it's Owen. Oh, Mr. Harriet. Hi, good day. What are you doing here? We are here to help out with the marriage seminar. Oh, are you here for that? Oh, no, I'm not here to participate in the seminar. Really? You seem to have a notebook and a pen with you. No, I'm not interested. Oh, speaking of which, were you able to ask that lady out on a date? No, that's embarrassing. I'm gonna call him out. What? What lady? The lady you spoke with at the matchmaking party. Her name was Melanie, I think? I thought you two had great chemistry. Oh, we had great chemistry? Yes, plenty. I'm sure she'd say yes if you asked her out on a date. Oh, really? Did we look so... Mr. Harriet looked relieved and seemed to calm down. Thank you. I appreciate the encouragement. I'll ask her out. Yay! She's gonna get together in this route. I like the Ryuki route, like watching Owen and Melanie get together. And then it got kind of spoiled because, like, Owen kind of got the short end of the stick in Shelby's route, and then we just never saw him again in any of the other ones. Good luck. I'll be cheering for you. Thanks. With that, Mr. Harriet happily departed the room. We saw him off, and I began preparing for the seminar with Peter. You checked their compatibility? Uh-huh. Yep. When I tried firing off the arrow, you appeared from out of nowhere. Oh, I see. That's how it happened. Speaking of which, I couldn't tell you at that time, but I thought Jupiter told you to never use Cupid's arrow. Oh, oopsie. He was right. Dad told me as much when I first came to the human realm. Can you keep it a secret from Lord Jupiter? No problem at all, but was that the only time you used it? He's gonna keep a secret from himself. I once used the leaden arrow before that. There's a couple who were having a fierce fight, so... The leaden arrow? Didn't your power decline? I must investigate this soon. Decline of power? What are you talking about? Never mind. That's not important right now. Aside from that, you should never use Cupid's arrow again. Huh? His face stiffened to my reaction. Does it have something to do with the human realm? I mean, I've used it just fine in Celestia. It's for your sake. His voice was stern. Please, promise you that you won't use it again. Since he seemed to be begging me, I was puzzled, but nodded. I understand. I won't use it. Yeah, it's a promise. He touched my shoulder, then grabbed me close. I was getting really nice notice. There's people here. When he let go, he then departed from the suite. Oh, okay. He's worried about Lynette. She has a countdown going, or a count up going, it looks like. Oh, Peter. Every time I hear Peter, I think of Family Guy. Oh, Peter. He's gone. Come on, the seminar's supposed to start. He's acting as freely as he did as Chi. But why the warning? I can't really use my arrow for my sake. And what was that about my power declining? We already saw this in Alan's route. Like, the power of Cupid's bow decreases their lifespan, right? I don't know, but Peter or Chi is Lord Jupiter's divine beast. I'm sure he knows more about the deconsentities than I do. I wish that he was clearer about the matter, but the graveness in his voice was enough to persuade me. In any case, the seminar was soon to begin, so I quickly returned to my preparations. At last, the seminar began. To my kind audience, thank you for attending today's seminar. My name is Lynette Muir, and I'll be your speaker. Wait, she's in charge. That's a lot for an intern. Can she just, like, introduce the guest speaker? Microphone in hand, I began my speech, keeping in step with what I'd learned. There were members as far as I could see. I tried my best to keep my composure from stage fright. Today we have a special guest lecture on romantic psychology. Miss Tyner, please come on up. It's been a while since I've seen Miss Tyner. Over the I don't even remember her voice. Hello, everyone. Leave the love lessons to me, Miss Tyner. I'm gonna skip her manager's voice. I'm so excited to be speaking for you all today. Miss Tyner is our resident romance expert who has published many self-help books on the subject. She'll be covering all sorts of topics, such as getting to know your crush through the lens of psychology. Oh, Miss Advisor, thanks for the great introduction. Miss Advisor? I just suppress a grin from the sheer joy of hearing her call me that. After biting my tongue, I left the rest of the lecture to Miss Tyner and went to the back room. She's like, oh my god, she called me a bridal advisor. When she's a literal god. Some speculate that love consists of 3 primary elements: intimacy, passion, and commitment. But there's another theory known as the theory of love that divides the subject into 6 different models as seen in this picture. There's the wheel. Oh, I remember learning about this. Even as a host, I had much to glean from this lecture. It really takes me back. I remember Clarice referring to her love type as Ludus. Yes, the only love I've ever known is fraternal. And then Peter. This familial love. Suddenly what Peter said came back to me. I'm guessing that would be storage, because like the only color. It corresponds on the color wheel. Fraternal love is sort of congenial. He's one of Lord Jupiter's subjects, right? Are divine beasts allowed to fall in love? I mean, he has the capability. Even he's not a divine beast, though, but... How sad, I thought. To be unaware of love or affection. All gods had a right to find love. Now let's discover our types, shall we? Miss Advisor, would you mind handing out these sheets of sheets, please? Oh, yes! My thought bubble has popped, and I returned to the task at hand. Quite the eventful first day as an advisor. When I returned to my desk, I found Peter in his chi form after having successfully dodged his responsibilities for the day. Oh, you. Why even come as Peter? The next day, Peter and I both had the day off, so we scheduled a movie date based on a recommendation from one of the other advisors. Whoops. Flicking the controller. At least I'm not wearing, I was like wearing a puffy sweater the other day, and I was like, I kept like, and I had like the controller kind of like tight to my body and just like mashing every button. Considering Peter's nature, a thriller probably wasn't the best idea, so we picked something other than Parasite. I want to watch a scary alien movie. You just transform in the middle of the theater and start causing a ruckus. A nice t-shirt. Edifice. Wow, so this is a movie theater. Wait, didn't you come with me to one in your chi form? No, never. Unfamiliar places frighten me. I was hiding under the bed. Yeah, I guess. I remember Chi wasn't with me when I went to the movie theater with Gil and Clarice. Then you will be surprised. Movies are so wonderful. They take place in many different worlds and... Oh, how about we have some popcorn? Which flavor do you want? When I looked up at Peter, pointing my finger at the signboard of the stand. Oh, when I looked up at Peter, pointing my finger at the signboard of the stand, looked puzzled. Peter looked puzzled. Popcorn as in those pebbles you brought back home when you had those so-called part-time jobs? You eat the pebbles? I found it odd how delicious those pebbles were. Perhaps humans are stronger chewers than gods. Did you not pop the popcorn? You just like tasted the salty butteriness like on the outside. Couldn't help but laugh at how seriously you took everything. It was refreshing to see someone just as clueless about the human realm as me. Maybe this is how Gil and Clarice saw me when we first met. They aren't pebbles. They're roasted corn kernels. They're addicting, I swear. Since there's so many options, would you mind if I went ahead and chose? Please, by all means. I showed Peter where to line up and make his purchase. With our popcorn and sodas in hand, we made our way to our seats. But it wasn't long before Peter started fidgeting in his seat. He kept darting his eyes around the theater, stuffing handfuls of popcorn in his mouth. He's nervous eating. This popcorn stuff is great. Doesn't taste like pebbles at all. Glad to hear it. That's the honey flavor. Sweet and savory, right? Want some soda? Oh, amazing. Human food is a wonder of its own. I can't believe how evolved they are. Just like shoving food in his mouth. Munch, munch, munch. Peter stuffed his cheeks with popcorn like a chipmunk. This is the god of all gods, guys. Come on. You don't have to eat them all at once. The movie's starting. The theater lights dimmed and a logo appeared on screen. At first, Peter's eyes widened with excitement. But as it turns out, this was a romance film. An intense one at that. Oh. How intense we talking? PG-13? A little higher than that? Rated R? Oh, okay. Oh, Michael, yes, yes. Whoa, they're really going for it. The couple in the movies kissed so passionately that watching it with someone else was awkward. I glanced over at Peter, noticing he was frozen and blushing. Have you not seen this? How the birds and the bees work? I chose this movie because it was trending, but I suspected I made a mistake. Maybe Parasite would have been better. Watch the aliens eat people. But then I ran the risk of sending the sensitive Parasite running from the theater. We both shifted uncomfortably in our seats, together, careful to avoid making eye contact. It felt like the longest movie I had ever watched. It's like watching one of those like sex scenes with your parents in the room. You're just like, Peter, gee. After the movie ended, I like when he gets flustered, he just like reverts to chi. We took a stroll to Los York Park. You okay, Peter? Yeah. Well, kind of. Yeah, I'm fine. That movie was certainly different from what I expected. Oh, no, not all movies are like that. I think I should have read the reviews first. At this rate, Peter would never watch another movie with me again. He's confused. Oh, God, he's such a nerd. Scared of the boobies, scared of everything. He makes me laugh. Say, why don't we rent one next time? I know the perfect one. One that's totally different from what we watched today. Really? Sounds great, truly. I'll take your word for it. The two of us stopped by a movie store and rented a slew of comedy movies to bring home. But after the first one finished, Peter suddenly took me into his arms. Oh, cuddle time. He seemed to take in my scent and let out a heavy sigh. Okay, he's a sniffer. Hey, is something wrong? I tore my attention away from the end credits and looked into Peter's eyes. He was blushing and slowly shook his head. Probably should have watched that other movie in the theater. He's gonna get ideas. I don't know why. I feel so compelled to hold you all of a sudden. Your scent comforts me. Could it have something to do with the movie we watched? It wasn't just a comedy, but a romantic comedy. A roller coaster of a musical. Since the story was focused on a couple in love, was he feeling sentimental? Come on, I can't breathe if you hold me that tightly. I patted his back lightly. Peter then lifted his head and stroked my cheek. Hey, Cupid. I turned my head at him, referring to me by my real name. After a bit of mumbling, he inhaled deeply and spoke. Can I kiss you? What? Kiss? Is that what couples do? I mean, you watched enough movies, right, Lynette? Is that what you want, Peter? Of course! More than anything, if I'm being honest. But if you're not comfortable with that... There was a hint of struggle in his voice, as if he had been dying to ask me all night. But I could relate, so I nodded with a smile. Sure thing. Right, I knew you'd... Wait, what? But Cupid, it's... I'm curious to do it myself. All those couples in the movie seem so natural at it. Plus, isn't it weird for Cupid to not know what kissing is like? Okay, she's very receptive to it. As far as first kisses went, I could do a lot worse than Peter. He's like, well, he's hot, so okay. He wouldn't go out of his way to hurt me. And he's from Celestia, too. So... Peter timidly placed his hands on my shoulders. We locked lips, moving slowly at first, with tiny pecks. Oh my. Oh! Our lips just barely touched, but something changed in that moment. The soft tenderness of his lips made my heart race. So this was a kiss. The universal gesture for love. Lynette, can we do it again? He almost seemed delirious. Suddenly, Peter tightened his grip around my shoulders. Uh-oh, gave him a taste. He started to lean in closer, causing me to lose balance and fall back into the sofa. It's gonna devolve into more than a kiss. Oh, okay, passion. Passion! Also, that haircut. Who did your hair? They shaved the back of your head a little bit. Lynette. Oh! You didn't wait for my answer this time. Peter sweetly pressed his lips harder against mine, and my body went numb. It'd be hard, like, okay, making out with this guy, but he was also this little fluffy thing a little while ago. Can she separate the man Peter and the little guy Chi? It took hold of me like an intoxication. Peter kissed with a fervor, nearly devouring my lips out of desperation. Okay, smooches. Smooching noises. He changed the angle by tilting his head and grabbed my wrist. Okay, they're touching a little bit more bases than first base. Now he was pressing into me. I could hardly move. It was like a lion who had conquered its prey. It occurred to me that she often behaved like a carnivore, with fangs and horns to boot. I mean, carnivores don't typically have horns, but... just trying to think, like, other than, like, some fantasy creature. I think of, like, goats and cows and deer having horns. Oh, Lynette. Lynette! Peter didn't seem to let his lack of technique to stop him from expressing the fullness of his desire. Okay, well, lacked technique, but probably full of enthusiasm. Probably giving, like, slobbery kisses like a dog. His eyes burned with a delicate flame. I soon found myself intimidated by the way his cheeks filled feverishly with color. Something wasn't right. Hey, Peter, calm down. I've never been calmer. He whispered with panted breaths, then touched my throat with the tip of his tongue. Oh my. His fang-like teeth were pressed against my neck, like he was ready to bite. I turned my neck and Peter bit into me. Not hard enough to break skin, more of a playful nibble. He's gonna give you a hickey. That tickles! What's gotten into me? But his confusion did not deter his impulses. Oh, is he gonna... This is Peter having his first, not gonna say it. He dug his nails into my shoulders, seemingly overwhelmed by the occasion. What should I do? I saw in Peter's eyes the same kind of eagerness that would befit a starving predator. He's been a virgin for how long? 2,000 years? Over 2,000 years? I had never seen that look before. He's gone beyond, like, wizard stage. If you go beyond 30 without having sex, you become a wizard. I guess, like... I guess he's gone to the point of, like, divinity. He was clearly aroused, but unable to locate how or why he felt this way. His gaze was sharp as our passionate kiss intensified. If we kept going, I feared it would open a door in my heart that couldn't be closed again. This isn't good. I can't go that way. I won't come back. No, please. I finally pushed against his chest, and he backed away as if he regained his senses. Okay, well, he's consent. At least he knows about consent, even when he's heavy in the moment. I'm sorry. I got carried away. Peter hurriedly got to his feet. As he fixed his eyes on my own, I saw the mixture of derangement and pleasure give way to bewilderment. Forgive me. It's my first time kissing someone, and I couldn't help myself. Well, he's a divine beast after all. And it's like, she just let it happen. Thinking, yeah, he's a divine beast. All right, that's fine. Kiss away. Divine beasts are made to work for gods. Peter has probably never had a proper conversation with people. Of course, I thought. Suddenly, I was curious about his real age. Speaking of which, Peter, you've been with Lord Jupiter a while, haven't you? Oh, well, yes. Then are you aware of his history of love affairs? What? His history of love affairs? It's all over mythology. Zeus/Jupiter, got with everybody. There are many myths surrounding Lord Jupiter, like he turned into a swan to sneak into a woman's room, or when he appeared as rain. Those are just misconceptions. Oh, really? Why would the Lord God be so risque? He wouldn't do such a thing. First of all, I'm no good with women. Uh-oh, he meant to say Jupiter, not himself. I'm not talking about you, Peter. I'm talking about Lord Jupiter. I know. But Lord God Jupiter isn't any good with women either. What? Really? Perhaps divine beasts are more and more similar to their gods? I never would have guessed for Lord Jupiter to have problems speaking to women. From what I gathered, he was steadfast and fearless in all matters. He just has to stay stoic and quiet, and people think oh, okay, he's fearless. And his inner monologue is just like, oh god, oh god, oh god, oh god. I can see Lord Jupiter being above such rumors. It surprised me to read those things in the first place. It did? Yeah, I've never spoken with him myself, but he comes off to me as a pretty strict, serious god. But tales I've read in mythology classes about Lord Jupiter almost always concerned women. It didn't add up. But the myths surrounding Cupid never seem to match up with how I am or what I do either. Maybe all myths are made up. I mean, for the Cupid thing, they explained it like there was multiple Cupids, so... there was a Cupid that fell in love with Psyche, there was a Cupid that Minerva killed somewhere, I don't know. Oh, about that. Never mind. Well, not all of them are made up. Some are true. Really? Which ones? I curiously stared back at Peter to await his answer, but he paused with a blush. Gee. We kissed, but it didn't seem to affect you. Seems like I'm just a divine beast to you. What? You want to know about the story behind those myths, right? Like when Lord Jupiter and the rest of the Deconsentes were born. History time. When they were born? I forgot. How'd it go? I sensed that Peter was hesitant to answer, so I waited as he pieced together a response. Most of the gods are offsprings of Cronus and his wife Rhea. Although they're related, they couldn't have been more different. Fearing a prophecy that his children would someday kill him, Cronus swallowed all of his newborns. Jupiter was the only one to escape this fate. His mother Rhea tricked Cronus into swallowing a stone instead to protect her child. Then Jupiter was hidden away somewhere in the human realm, left to be raised by nymphs. Once he matured, he set out to save his siblings. Your story matches up with the myth humans tell. Right. Jupiter was reminded each day by the nymphs that, were he to be discovered, Cronus would eat him. From this he developed a shrewd sense for danger, although he's the Lord God. You know, Peter, for a divine beast, you seem to know a lot about Lord Jupiter. Is it possible you were with him from the start? Oh, yes. I've been with them for a long time. Longer than anybody, I presume. Wow. You're much older than I am. Were you in the Trojan War? Dad told me plenty of those stories. I leaned in closer, but Peter withdrew shyly and averted his gaze. Don't come so close to me. I can't restrain myself. What? I don't want to be the Jupiter that they talk about in those myths. Be the Jupiter, as in... the one who's eager to find love? Oh no. His cheeks reddened so quickly that I could practically hear the blood filling them. Suddenly, Peter transformed into Chi. Chi! Chi started chirping fiercely as if to dissuade me from pressing him further. Unfortunately, that was the only conjecture since I couldn't understand a word of it. Sorry. Hey, why don't we finish the rest of our movies? You want to learn more about the human realm, right, Chi? Chi. He sulked as he nodded. I stood up to pour myself another cup of tea and inserted the DVD. Okay. Well, that explains why he's like such a scaredy cat. He spent like the beginning of his life like in fear of being eaten. As the second movie we rented began to play out, she curled up to a ball the moment another kissing scene appeared on the screen. He said, oh. Learning techniques. Oh, okay. I'm guessing this is Peter's perspective later that night. After she went to bed, I returned to my form as Peter and watched her intently as she slept. Snooze. What have I done? Something about the way that kiss unfolded makes it hard to think about sleeping in the same bed with her. Part of me is floating, but another part of me has succumbed to melancholy. I became acquainted with the feeling that I had yet to see for myself, as both a man and as a god. This much is true. So this love, I can't believe it took getting shot by Cupid's bow to see it. I was fated as Jupiter to only know one other kind of love. For ages, as long as I've longed to know. But the idea always scared me. I've seen Apollo shot by the golden arrow, and likewise Daphne by the leaden arrow. I've also seen Cupid prick their own finger with a golden arrow and fall in love with Psyche with my own eyes. The power of Cupid's bow both awed and terrified me. I found myself vexed by this newly awakened love. But at the same time, I yearned to cling to this unfamiliar joy before it left me. Lynette. I whispered her name and held her hand as she slept. She is completely vulnerable. The peace I could see in her slumber made my chest tighten. Guilt came flooding in. Was I allowed my desire to kiss her just because I'm falling for her? She doesn't know what love is either, but she didn't exactly tell me to stop. I had to remind myself that she was also foreign to the ways of human love, so perhaps Cupid herself struggled just as I did. But there were 6 types of love still to learn. But I stole her lips before all of that. I hope I didn't disrupt her mission. But how am I supposed to contain my desire? Because I've fallen in love. I grazed her cheek with my fingertip ever so softly. The precious sensation sent an aching chill throughout my body. I must protect her at all costs and stop any threat that would make her disappear. To do this, I must break Juno's seal before she returns to Celestia, and I must quickly find the 6 types of love. But they're near. I can feel it. 3 of them are here already. Now to find the other 3. Like, what? She's like, what are you trying to collect? Like the Chaos Emeralds? Like, Like, what kind of love can he collect? Cupid, the most talented advisor. Do I want to continue? 40 minutes. I kind of want to continue. Hopefully this doesn't turn out to be an hour. Alright, we'll do another chapter. The next morning. We got on the subway to head to work without saying a word to each other. Peter had been acting awkward since breakfast, and I wasn't sure how to start a conversation. We kept glancing at each other, then glancing away. Oh no. The memories. Normally we'd have casual small talk, but there was none of that today. I had a pretty good idea of why that was. It was probably because of yesterday's kiss. Oh, that passionate kiss. I didn't think too much of it while it was happening, but I just thought it was something fun. But then things cooled off after that, and now that Peter was acting so awkward today, I was feeling kind of restless myself. And we didn't sleep in the same bed last night either. I was surprised when I woke up and saw him sleeping on the couch. And when I told him that he could catch a cold. It's fine. We have that spare room, right? I'll start sleeping in there. I'll go buy a bed today after work. Now he's extra aware of her. He actually said that to me. He didn't seem to ever mind sleeping in the same bed before. Clearly everything had changed after our kiss. Sitting next to him, I was suddenly aware of our height difference, something I never cared about before, and I looked at his hands. Oh, the man's hands! Just then, the train shook a little bit and our shoulders lightly touched. But that was enough to make Peter whip his head towards me as if he got an electric shock. Sorry about that. It's fine. Peter was the one shot with the golden arrow, not me. And yet, it almost felt like I was feeling its effects too. My heart was beating so hard and fast, I was worried the other people on the train might notice. Without saying another word, he headed into the office. Whew. As I got to my desk, I suddenly felt exhausted. Dating really is pretty tough, huh? But it's just one of those things you can only experience down in the human realm, I guess. I mean, your parents are kind of lovey-dovey, Mars and Venus. They experience it. The happiness of love and the pain. I've always wanted to experience all sides of it. But I never realized just how embarrassing the whole experience could be, though. Okay, so to start off with I'd like you to get in touch with this client. And then, hey, are you okay? You look pretty tired. Huh? Oh no, I'm fine. Leave it to me. I'll take care of everything. Finally, my very first client has a bridal advisor. Please give her someone, like, doable, right? Like, not a Parasite 5. Well, I mean, doable, and that, like, she can match him with someone else, not with her. I took the file with both hands and began reading up on the client I've been in charge of. I was ready to combine the love psychology I learned in college and my own natural instinct as Cupid. I'm definitely going to lead my client into a happy marriage. Without using my Cupid's bow, of course. Not only because Lord Jupiter banned it, but it would feel like cheating if I could. Yeah, don't let those intrusive thoughts win, girl. Like you did before. Gonna cause more trouble. But gods are supposed to want to use their divine artifacts, right? Weird. I guess I'm starting to think more like a human every day. Would Lord Jupiter be happy about that? The whole reason I'm here is to learn about the daily lives of humans, right? I have to assume that includes how they think, too. I thought about what Lord Jupiter might be up to back in Celestia at that moment, then got back to work. Whew. There I was, Peter Flage, walking down the street mindlessly. They asked me to buy 4 lattes from Starbucks. These humans are total slave drivers. Why can't they just drink coffee in the break room? Of course, it's because of people like them that human cuisine has come so far. So I guess I shouldn't complain too much. Sometimes they want the sweet goodness of Starbucks. Anyway, I haven't been able to look her straight in the eye ever since yesterday's kiss. It looked like it was bothering her, so I'd like things to go back to normal as fast as possible, but I know I'll want more, so I have to be careful. If I look her in the face again, I'll want to kiss her for sure. Get together, Jupiter. Your job is to look after her no matter what. I need to focus on getting her ready to take over as Juno. That's my one and only duty. I was able to find 5 humans who each have one type of love. I've guided them to her, but oh, it's the Parasite 5. I really hope it all works out. After she shot the leaden arrow, it seems like her power has actually increased, if anything. The golden arrow steals her life force, but I guess the leaden arrow boosts it. I'm surprised I never realized that before. Oh, okay, so she can prolong her life by breaking up couples. Every Cupid's lifespan is a little bit different. I thought maybe it was just a coincidence, but this means that if she keeps on shooting leaden arrows, she'll just live longer and longer. Wasn't there like one route? Was it? Wait, can't remember which one she lost. She lost the golden arrow, but still had the leaden arrow, and they just ordered her to break up couples. Was Jupiter privy to that, like, then? But I can't have her going around breaking couples up just to give her more time. So what should I do instead? Make her break up couples that aren't meant to be. Those domestic abusers. I thought about that as I turned the corner. Suddenly, I nearly froze in panic as I came face to face with a demon. I couldn't believe I didn't recognize him before. I've been thinking about her so much. Maybe it's affecting my danger sense. Hi. Oh, ha ha! I can't die here. I still have so much to live for. I spun around and prepared to escape, but he grabbed my shoulder and suddenly I couldn't move. Oh, is he at a disadvantage here? Hey, just a second. I'm not the type to steal away the soul of a mere divine beast. Oh, Alan doesn't know he's Jupiter. You know, in another route, he ganked you. He just shot you a bunch of lightning. Can you not, like, sense his power? Divine beast? Yeah, you're her divine beast, right? I mean, you give off the same vibe as her, so... Oh, yeah, I sure am, but... I guess you can't tell that I'm actually Jupiter. That's good, at least. Anyway, I wanted to ask you something. You recently showed her how you feel, right? So, do you really love her? Were you watching Alan through like a window? He might have. His eyes are cold and suspicious, but I managed to give him a confident nod. Yes, I really do love her. I love her so much I'd die for her. Is that going to be a problem? No. If that's how you really feel, there's no problem at all. I was hoping she'd date a human, but oh well. With that, he turned to leave. Now it was my turn to stop him. Wait, I have something to ask you too. Ellen Melville, you're the angel that was paired with her, aren't you? When he heard that, he stared hard into my eyes. How did you? I've been alive much longer than she has. I might not be that powerful, but I do know that much. Anyway, if I'm right about you, I just wanted to ask. Do you really care about her? Yes, I care more about her than more than anything in the world. More than I could put into words. Which is why I can never forgive Jupiter. Although his voice has dropped to a near whisper, it seemed to reverberate with a cold echo. The disdain and hatred he had for me was obvious. His voice alone was enough to strike fear into my soul. Why do you hate me so much? They're gonna use her up until she disappears. But I'm not going to let them. I'll keep her safe, no matter what. I can't forgive them for turning angels into gods, then ordering them around until they disappear, without ever revealing the truth. Well, as a divine beast, I completely understand how you feel. But then, what should they do? It was a question I'd held inside me for a long time, and now here I was voicing it to an actual demon. Gods require offerings and sacrifices. That wasn't exactly true, but the way we used the angels of Elysium to turn into gods certainly gave that impression. There can never be peace without sacrifice. Not that I feel great about using that as a justification. But there's no way to make gods, angels, humans, and demons all happy. People call me the almighty god of gods, but so often I feel completely useless. I don't want the angels to disappear either. And neither does Lord Jupiter. But we can't protect humankind otherwise. Marriages have been declining since Juno hasn't been doing her job, and Cupid is down here studying. To be honest, I'm not sure gods need to exist either. I just want to be clear about that. I mean, that's why Cupid Corp exists, like, to do Cupid's job in a human way. But I'll do whatever I can to keep her from disappearing. I want to keep your angel partner safe. Will you help me do that? Help you? The main reason I came down from Celestia is to look after her. That's what Lord Jupiter wants me to do. Maybe it's not clear, but he has no desire or intention for her to disappear. In fact, it's the complete opposite. If she can live in the human realm, learn what human life is like, and understand all types of love, she'll become Juno. What? Become Juno? Is that even possible? He's the god of gods, right? So he'll make it happen. After hearing that, do you still hate him so much? After listening to what I had to say, he just stood there in silence. He still looked pretty suspicious. So I went on. Also, he wanted her to come down here to study because it seems like someone is after her. Is it Alan and Minerva? After her? Actually, someone was able to make the last Cupid disappear too. I've been keeping an eye on her ever since. Seems like whoever it is can't get their hands on her directly, but there are traces of them prowling around her. I have someone looking into it, but we haven't managed to figure out who it might be yet. Minerva! It's Minerva! In Celestia, making a god disappear isn't exactly considered a crime, so it's hard to get them to take it seriously. What? A god disappeared? You have no idea who did it? And even if you caught them, they wouldn't be guilty of anything? There's no such thing as guilty when it comes to the gods. No matter their cruelty, Lord Jupiter can't punish them. After all, nothing they do can ever be considered bad. Whatever the deconsentees do is the will of heaven, and even for lower gods, nobody is in a position to accuse them of anything. Not even the almighty Lord Jupiter. That's exactly why I hate the gods. They disrespect the angels with no fear of retribution. So I will. Alan, listen. Lord Jupiter wants to change how things work. Honestly. He didn't want to separate you two. But Mercury is the messenger of the gods, and his voice outweighed even Lord Jupiter. No matter how much he wanted to leave those two angels alone, he just couldn't. I'm sorry. Why are you apologizing? Well, because the truth is, I'm his divine beast. But you mean you're not her divine beast? Right. But please don't view me as the enemy. I want to protect her, and I want to punish whoever made the last Cupid disappear. So Alan, can we work together to keep her from disappearing and to uncover our mutual enemy that you're also happen to be working with? I put out my hand and Alan was suddenly flustered. Is he gonna double cross? You gonna have a double agent? You're really willing to work with a demon, even as Jupiter's own divine beast. Won't he be angry with you? There's no rule that says we can't work with demons. Like I said, gods don't really face punishment in Celestia. I held his gaze, silently demanding an answer. And you expect me to just believe everything you said? I swore on Cupid's life. I don't want my love to disappear either. I haven't been able to do anything on my own anyway. I may as well team up with this divine beast. His love does seem genuine. Fine, let's team up. Sounds like I should direct my hatred towards Mercury anyway, since he's the one who chose Cupid. Gee, I'd rather you not hate any gods, but I guess that's too much to ask. You're a fallen angel after all. So, do you know of anyone who might have wanted to make the previous Cupid disappear? That's basically why we had to choose a new Cupid in the first place. That's the god that separated the two of you in a way. It seems this god found out he couldn't obtain Cupid's bow, and gained access to a tome called the Divine Artifact Apocalypse. And within those pages, the god found a way to steal Cupid's bow. Has anyone ever mentioned anything like that to you? Alan was completely silent and had a severe look on his face. He thought for a moment, then spoke. I know this god's face, but not her name. She'd never speak her name to a demon like me. Just say she has a cowboy hat, and she could be like, oh, it's her. But I know that she wears gloves. She said they hid the burn she got when she grabbed Cupid's bow. Okay, so I guess Minerva got into a fight with a different Cupid. Didn't know the artifact could like hurt people / gods. Gloves. Thinking about it, I've never seen Venus wear gloves, nor Mars, Mercury, or Ceres. But I did recall seeing one particular goddess wearing gloves. The goddess of war and wisdom, Minerva. It has to be her. He found out! Mystery solved! It can't be! If that's the god I'm after, things are worse than I thought! Oh, she's like, I don't want to go after Minerva. It's crazy. True to her title, Minerva is extremely intelligent, and she's well versed in all kinds of technology and trickery. I mean, yeah, she fits the bill. She's smart enough to get away with, like, sneaking around and reading your book and trying to get to Cupid. She snuck her way into the human realm time and time again. No normal god is capable of cloaking the presence of a divine artifact. She's not quite as strong as Mars, but I can't count how many times she's personally fooled me with her cunning nature. She could easily have come up with a way to get a hold of the divine artifact Apocalypse. I guess I shouldn't be too surprised. I understand. Thank you for that information. I'm gonna save her from this goddess, I swear it. If you can, please do. Keeping her from disappearing is my only desire. Even if I have to kill a god, I'll do it. His face was full of grim determination. It was immediately obvious that he meant what he said. They really did love each other that much. There's no way he'd do anything to harm her. I was totally convinced that I could trust him. Then I have one more thing to ask you. Has there been any kind of disturbance in hell lately? A disturbance? Well, I have felt something weird lately. Satan said a bad wind is blowing. Not just someone passing gas. Something weird. It's like Satan, but different. The lesser demons have been acting up for almost 20 years. Something about a missing friend. It's not Hades, is it? We haven't seen anything about Hades yet. Almost 20 years. That would have been around the time Juno went missing. If God went to hell, Satan won't let that slide. I don't want to believe it. It's very disquieting. On a similar topic, I haven't talked to Lord Pluto in quite some time. The underworld is directly above hell, but actually the border between the two worlds disappeared several years ago. I remember receiving an oddly unconcerned letter pointing out that the two worlds were pretty similar to begin with. Hell, huh? Guess I'll have to investigate further at some point, but to be honest, the idea of going down there terrifies me. Demons don't have a lot of love for gods to begin with, and I've personally made quite a few of them disappear myself. If anyone down there found out I'm Jupiter, they'd chop me into pieces. Maybe I should ask Alan to look into it for me. Really, you can't just go and smite them? Anyway, there's definitely something going on in both Celestia and in Hell. We should start sharing information. Meanwhile, I'll stay close to her and keep her safe. Is that okay with you? Yes, of course. I can't think of anyone better to keep an eye on her than a divine beast from Celestia. Alan's face suddenly became soft and kind. Maybe he was thinking about her. Those two really are a pair. He cares about her both like close family and like a lover. Kind of feel bad, cause I feel like Alan's route was the end all be all route. I feel like Lynette can't be with any other guy but him. They match. They're part of a match set. I recall the pain I felt when I pulled them apart and etched that sin into my heart. Oh, back to Lynette's house, though. Okay, Lynette woke up. I could hardly sleep that night. I just kept on tossing and turning. I hate that I can't have Chi around anymore. Oh, you miss him, even if it's just in his fluffy form. If I could just bury my face into that fluffy hair of his, I'd be asleep in an instant. But Chi was actually Peter, and ever since he fell in love with me, he just shut himself in his room every day. So I've been sleeping in my bed all alone, and it's making me feel restless. It was like I had an emptiness in my soul, like a cold spot. I'm never gonna fall asleep. I let out a long sigh and then got out of bed and headed to the living room. Oh, hi. As I walked in, Peter and I locked eyes. I guess he couldn't sleep either. He's drinking something from his mug. Oh, I'm heading back to bed right now. Feel free to sit down and relax. Peter shot up and practically ran back into his room. As the door closed, I felt that cold sensation again. I sat down in the chair and looked at the mug Peter had left behind. It was a glass of warm milk. It was only half drunk. He really didn't have to run back to his room like that. He could have sat here with me. I quietly drank the milk that was still left. Oh, it's an indirect kiss. It's so warm. The milk he'd just been drinking a few seconds ago. Warm, sweet, and extremely relaxing. The flavor was so gentle. Peter running away from me made my heart ache. It left me feeling so lonely. Lonely? Finally, I recognized the emotion I'd been feeling. I put a hand to my chest. Loneliness, I see. So this is what it feels like. I wanted to fall asleep hugging Chi, but I couldn't. I wanted to drink warm milk with Peter, but he was back in his room. So that's why I feel lonely. I just want everything to go back to the way it was. Can't we? Can things really go back to normal after the Cupid's bow effect wears off? What if he loses all interest in me? What if he leaves me all alone? I took another sip of the milk. I thought about how much I wanted to avoid that. The warm milk suddenly went cold and the sweetness turned sour. Like her feelings. Oh, it's a different room. It's like Claris's room, but inverted. And not as decorated. After I ran away from her, I closed the door to my room and sat down feeling pathetic. This is awful. I seriously can't even look at her face. As soon as I do, my heart begins to race and the urge to kiss her comes flooding in. I'm sure if I kept looking, I'd want to do even more than that. So all I could do was jump up and run away like a coward. I love her so much. She was so important to me. My heart started to hurt. I crouched down in front of my door, all alone. I want to kiss her. I want to bite her. Oh my. That last thought was a surprise, but I had a pretty good idea what kind of desire it represented. He wants to eat her, devour her. But I can't admit that to myself. I decided a long time ago not to look at the other gods like that. I flopped down on the bed and desperately looked for a way to endure my desire. Should I just take care of the stress myself? Oh, like, it's gonna just do a little handy. But I tended to avoid that sort of thing too. It'd be very messy. That was something my older brother would do, and I didn't want to be like him. Emotions are so complicated. I bit the back of my hand, putting all my effort into relieving my desires that way. Okay, pain. Via pain. But I knew this passion would come flooding back as soon as I saw her again. I really wanted to go back to talking to her like usual, but I knew I couldn't. Alright, ever since everything happened, I've been focused on matchmaking for as many clients as possible. Lynette's back in the office. The literal Cupid acting as a love advisor in a human body. It's not as exciting as firing off arrows, but nobody could match my passion and dedication. Plus, wow, check this out. Your marriage rate this month is the highest in company history. And it's only been 2 weeks. Wow. What? The paper was sitting there in front of me. I couldn't hide my surprise. The graph showed marriages from every advisor, and my bar was way higher than anyone else. I've never met such a talented advisor. Looks like you're a legendary rookie. You're gonna join the company after your internship is done, right? The CEO is gonna love you for sure. She's right. And if you can keep up these kinds of profits, we'll get one heck of a bonus too. She better be getting paid well. She's only an intern, but all the advisors gathered around me, gushing about the graph. The highest in history, huh? Like, looking at my bar stretching across the paper, I couldn't help but smile. Needless to say, I was really happy. I'm glad I've been able to support so many couples. Thanks, everyone. I'll do my best to keep blazing through clients and match as many as I can in the time I have left. Oh, you're so reliable. We'll all be counting on you. Okay. I got everyone's lattes from Starbucks. Huh? What's going on? Oh, you won't believe it. Your girlfriend just broke a huge record. Really? That's awesome. Peter's face lit up and he put his arms around my waist. Then without warning, he suddenly lifted me up into the air. Not shy about displaying that in the office. What? Congratulations, Lynette. You really are amazing. I can't believe you helped so many couples get married. You really are a legendary Cupid. Come on, it's a little embarrassing doing this in front of everyone. Peter suddenly realized what he was doing and looked around. Cart whistling and catcalling. Oh, don't worry about us. You just go on and do your thing. So sorry about that. I just got so excited hearing you broke a record that I used your divine... Without using your divine artifact. Don't mention that. Don't mention divine artifact here. He put me down looking embarrassed. Seeing his dreamy, extremely Peter-like face, I burst out laughing. It's okay. Thank you, Peter. We just looked at each other and smiled. Obviously, nobody but us would understand the reference to a divine artifact. In that moment, I was happy to smile at him, like two friends sharing a secret. Things were pretty awkward when we decided to sleep in the other room, but I felt like things were getting back to normal. Okay, I have to make sure to do my best again today. Now that I've broken the company record, I wanted to break the national record, or even the entire world record of couples matched. After all, I was the real Cupid. Celestia doesn't have its Cupid right now, so I at least have to work hard to match people together here in the human realm. I continued to pretend to be a human and did my best to bring people together. And then, one day... 4 p.m., my desk. Great, these two seem to be doing well. They're planning to go on another date. I'm sure there'll be a couple soon. Then I'll interview both of them again to make sure everything keeps going smoothly. Then after that... Huh? I thought I heard someone call my name, so I quickly raised my head. But there was nobody there. Did I just imagine that? I looked back down at my paperwork. Huh? An email? Who could it be from? President Sale. Be there in my office at 5 tomorrow evening. We need to talk. What? Mr. Snail? Huh? Is everything okay? What? Oh, no, it's nothing. I quickly waved her away and tried to play it off, but... This is the first time Mr. Snail has ever gotten in touch with me. What could he want with me? I thought about everything I've done lately and couldn't think of anything I'd be in trouble for. Except for that. I have that one top secret. Something I can't tell anyone. That nobody would believe me. Would believe even if I did. That secret, of course, being that I'm Cupid. I don't think someone's gonna call you to the office and be like, are you a god? I'm like, no. But yes, it kind of sucks and sad that, like, yeah, when someone calls you into the office, you immediately think that you're in trouble. But there's no way you could know about that, right? Chi? Peter flew over to me in his Chi form. Peter had been staying in his Chi form and sticking close to me quite a lot lately. Well, this form does make things less awkward, so... I was worried he might be ignoring his work too much, but it seemed like nobody really noticed he wasn't around. He's just a coffee delivery boy. Otherwise, he just makes things worse. Maybe he had some special divine beast powers that he was using to cloud their minds. Or maybe not, now that he's about to get fired. And now he's about to get fired. No, but if that was it, the president would have contacted him, not me. I tilted my head. The last time I'd seen Mr. Snail was at my employee orientation. Not even a peep since then. Geez, I'm really nervous. I really hope he hasn't found out I'm Cupid somehow. Then at 5 p.m. the following day. Ah, there you are. Mr. Snail greeted me as soon as I walked into his office. Here he is, hi. Wait, I feel like we've seen this CG, isn't it just where... Was this the common route? Sorry for making you come all this way. Oh, it's no trouble. So, what can I do for you? Are you familiar with a particularly troublesome group of clients of ours? The so-called Parasite 5? Oh no, he's gonna thrust those guys on her. Oh yes, I've heard a bit about them here and there. So even a new intern like you has heard about them. Would you mind taking a look at their profiles? Let's see. Mr. Snail handed me their paperwork and I took a look. Here they are. Here's Gil. Wait, what? This says Gil Lovecraft. I remember seeing him at a matchmaking party, but I had no idea he was part of the Parasite 5. Which Parasite could he be? Maybe the obsessed Parasite. I know he's super into cars. Not quite. You never talked to them when you were around him. I took a look at the other profiles. Here's Raoul. Raoul Aconite. Oh, that's the actor. I saw him at that party too. Actually, he's just here researching a role. Oh, I see. Ruki F. Kesain. It's a really colorful profile. I guess, like, can you, like, you recognize people as colors. I wonder if he just, like, thought, like, all these colors together were just beautiful, or if he, like, just saw it as something else. Hey, I know him too! I remember him going on about some weird rating system. Alan Melville. It's your professor. Wait, Professor Melville? And the person who didn't write his name in. Huh? Looking at the last profile, I tilted my head in confusion. The entire profile had been dutifully filled out in a neat type. Everything except one thing. Mr. Snail, who is this? I don't see his name anywhere. I'm going to be honest with you. That profile belongs to the prestige parasite. In other words, me. Okay, he's not gonna keep it a secret. Huh? I'm sorry. Could you repeat that? I must have misheard you. That profile sheet belongs to me, the prestige. I'm the prestige parasite. But that would mean... That's alright. I'm not married. Never have been. I'm currently looking for a fitting wife. I was stunned by the sudden confession. Mr. Snail isn't married? But his entire reputation is built around being a CEO that's devoted to his wife. Are you serious right now? It's all just a rumor that went out of hand. Very much so. It all started from a simple misunderstanding. But it was on live TV, so I couldn't take it back. Our advertising agency decided to run with it and pushed me as a devoted CEO. But I'm tired of lying to everyone. So I decided to tell the truth. I talked it over with Mr. James, the original interviewer, and he offered a compromise. Mr. Snail took out another sheet of paper. The title at the top said, "The Parasite 5 on the Hunt, Bad Boys Looking for Love." This is... I mentioned to Mr. James how I was part of what we're calling the Parasite 5. Right away he said he wanted to make it a show. He said that if I just said I'd been falling in love over and over, but I was too embarrassed to admit it. I looked pathetic. I mentioned the idea to the other Parasite 5 members and they were all on board. They were excited to give it a try. And Mr. Aconite's manager was more than willing. He said appearing on a limited TV series would be a great PR for him. So I asked some of our advisors to be on the show, and so it was all about men looking for marriage, but every one of them refused. Frankly, none of them wanted to have anything to do with the Parasite 5. Mr. Snail let out a huge sigh. And who can blame them? The whole issue with our group is that we're so problematic, none of the advisors could find matches for us. They naturally felt like no matter what they did or said, they wouldn't be able to get through to us. They're really that much trouble? Even Gil and Professor Melville and... I wouldn't put Alan in like the normal-ish category. Gil, kind of normal. He fell in love with, Lynette, but like not a human, but like he fell in love. He just couldn't let it go. I don't recall causing any problems myself, although I did make Owen act as a kind of surrogate, so yeah, that's a big problem. Wait, you mean Mr. Harriet? Your secretary? That's right. He was my representative. He went on all my dates and wrote all my follow-up correspondence. Obviously that was destined to fail. Speaking of which, Owen told me he recently found a girlfriend thanks to your help. Oh, they became a couple, huh? Indeed. He said you helped him figure out how to ask her out without immediately running away. He looked very happy. I'm glad to hear that, at least. I made a mental note to congratulate him next time I saw him. I was really happy they managed to get together. I heard you've been doing a remarkable job in general lately. In fact, you shattered our single-month marriage record. To be honest, I've never seen such a talented intern, which is why I decided to ask you to deal with the Parasite 5. Dramatic pause. Deal with them. In any way possible. I'm still working up the nerve to admit the truth about myself. I'm hoping you can help support me with that. Mr. Snail gave me a long look. I could tell this was really bothering him, so I nodded my agreement. You can leave it to me. I'm sure I can do it. You think so? I'm glad to hear that. Well then, could you come with me? I've already gathered them together. They're in this other room. Hi! Wait, what? Throwing them to the wolves. Okay, it's like that whole... It's like we're replaying the beginning now. We've come full circle. As I entered the workshop suite with Mr. Snail, I was first greeted by Gil's surprised face, then some kind of spray. What the? Your skin is far too dry. You should always carry some hydrating mist with you. What are you? Oh! Hey, you're Alan Melville, right? You stole my girlfriend! I hate the word stole. It was more like sharing. And it was completely consensual, trust me. What? That tree kind of reminds me of Yggdrasil. Not the one from Norse mythology, of course. More like... All I could do in all that chaos was scream. And that's how my Parasite 5 intern challenge began. This is above her pay grade. Alright, is the next chapter? Okay, that chapter was a little long. The annoying Parasite 6. Are they gonna put Peter in there? Alright, we're gonna end things off here. Okay. We've had some passion. We've had some silliness. Like how we've come full circle and now we're back to the Parasite 5. Okay. Anywho, I hope you guys are having a fun time with this, and I'll see you in the next episode. Bye-bye.